Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Innovation Podcast, your source for all things innovation. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so I have Larry Heminger on the line, and he's Chief Information Officer over at MemComputing. Larry, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
So excited to get into today's topic, how you're helping companies innovate. But before we get into that, let's get a little bit further into what you're doing over at MemComputing. Tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Yeah, sounds good. So MemComputing the founders of the company invented a new revolutionary computer architecture that was aimed at removing bottlenecks from solving large optimization problems. So the founders of the company are physics and science-based, and they've essentially designed a new architecture. Ultimately, could be a hardware coprocessor, kind of like your GPUs are today, but they're aimed at putting together compute and memory together to remove traditional bottlenecks from traditionally very difficult, complex optimization problems. What the company did in the early days is demonstrate that technology by writing a software emulation of this new circuit. They demonstrated that locally here in San Diego at the Supercomputer Center and quickly discovered not only do they have a new computer architecture, but they also have a software product that they can offer. So that's kind of where we are today.
So we're going to go further into innovation, but before we do, I wanna, there's a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, executives listening right now, and you caught some of their attention. But I want to make sure at the very end, I'm going to give you an opportunity to leave your website or however else you want people to contact MemComputing. But I want to make sure the right types of companies and clients and industries do contact you. So what are the right types of fit for companies to typically work with MemComputing?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we're really targeting some of the large Global 500 companies. These are companies that are, very mature, they're fairly large, and they have enterprise scale optimization problems to be solved. So these, the companies are a lot of in the oil and gas, oil and energy business, transportation, logistics, delivery, routing, scheduling, those sort of problems, port optimization problems. We're currently working proof of concepts with just about every form of transportation, including rail, last mile delivery, tanker ships, airplane loading and routing. So if you can think of problems where if a company, for instance, can optimize big problems, if a company can optimize the way they load a cargo aircraft or optimize routing of oil tankers, across the ocean, the possibility of saving significant amount of money exists. And that's kind of where we come in, where we're tackling very large problems, able to solve them quicker and more cost effectively than current solutions, can do. Then that represents potentially millions and millions of dollars in savings to those large companies.
Man, I always tell people, I'm like, I want big problems. Like, I want $1 billion problems. I don't want these little small business problems. Because if I have $1 billion problems, that means I'm making some money here. So I'm not there yet, Larry, but I want those big problems so I can have you guys solve them for me.
and that's exactly our attitude. The bigger the better for us. As it turns out, this architecture that they invented tends to take problems that scale in an exponential manner and take them down to polynomial or linear scaling, which means they can be solved in orders of magnitude faster.
So let's get into the innovation piece and how let's put a little bit of meat around some of these concepts on helping companies innovate. So where do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, so just a quick background for me. I've really specialized over the years in taking products mainly from a software architecture, specialized in the last 5 or so years in cloud architectures, enabling these very unique innovations to scale and grow and enable the business to scale out. So, a couple of examples. I worked previously at a company here in San Diego called EcoATM and was one of the early employees in that company. We went from a handful of kiosks to many, many thousands nationwide. Also worked in the healthcare business where we did similar kind of software as a service platforms for medical imaging and data storage and routing and stuff. So that's been my background, I would say, ever since I graduated from UC San Diego. When I joined MemComputing, that's basically why they brought me on was, hey, look, we have this very, very data science oriented software product, and how can we make that product super easy to use by our clients, easy to integrate with the clients and companies' own, applications, and just commercialize this thing and in the form of a SaaS, in the form of a software developer kit, and just make it really easy for customers to engage with. And so that's what I'm doing at MemComputing, which is a very traditional role for me. In this case, it's a very different technology than I've ever worked with before. So my hat's off to our data science team and our CTO who's created this invention, and then just leveraging my background to figure out how we can expose that again to these global 500 companies who all have their own unique problems to solve in ways that they would want to integrate, with this platform. Another thing we just came out with, when the whole, coronavirus and COVID-19, kind of crisis happened, we kind of took a look at our platform and made the offer out to the biotech community as an example to say, hey, look, if there's any way we could help research and development in the biotech and life sciences space related to COVID-19, we'll make that available, to you guys, make access available for free to the platform. So that's kind of another vertical market that we're hoping to get into and providing, allowing the innovation to be used by that community as well.
Man, that's awesome. So Larry, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on MemComputing or to connect or to learn more about what you do, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Very easy, memcpu.com or memcomputing.com, either way. Again, the website has our use cases, a number of real-world use cases that you can very quickly read about. There's an explainer video on the website that talks about how the technology works, kind of what's under the hood, and sometimes it sounds too good to be true, and it helps you understand why it actually works. You can also register for the platform, and we can get you, if you're already have sort of an optimization problem that you would like to try out, there's information on the site that lets you, gives you an easy way to sign up and kind of kick the tires on it, so to speak.
Man, that's awesome. Well, Larry,
so
really appreciate you. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
You would encourage what? Say it again.
Oh, I was just going to say I would encourage folks, if you're interested in this sort of technology, please have a look at the site. There's use cases, scientific published papers about the technology, tutorial videos, provide some additional detail around the product.
Fantastic. Well, Larry, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background, all the great things you're doing over at MemComputing to help solve those big problems out there. I love it, and I can't wait to have big problems so I can bring them to you and to the audience as always. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to sign up for the or subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Innovation, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of things and projects you're working on. And Larry, thanks again for coming on the show.